This is Story Robot. Welcome to r/IDontWorkHereLady. Our first story of today is, I'm looking at the nutrition facts, not stocking the shelves. There have been a few times when people have stopped me to ask if I work there, but I've always just been able to say, no, sorry. And that's always the end of it. But today, that wasn't the case at all. This is one of those ordeals that never actually happens in the real world, or so I thought. This is what actually happens when things get out of hand. So a bit of background about me: I'm a bodybuilder, powerlifter, and nutrition is very important to what I do. Whenever I go shopping, I like to check the nutrition labels on ingredients and foods I'm interested in. That way I can eat enough food to not be hungry, without sacrificing flavor, and still fitting it into my daily calorie intake. As you can imagine, I will check multiple different versions of the same ingredients in an aisle and put them back as I search for the best option. Well, earlier today I went on a pretty big restock for the house. I also found a bunch of new recipes that I want to try, some of which called for some ingredients I don't work with often. For the most part, the store wasn't too busy, and nobody really bothered me as I walked up and down each aisle. I also had some earbuds in and my phone out, with my shopping list on it. Keep in mind also that I'm wearing a tank top and sweatpants, which you're probably not going to get away with wearing as a grocery store employee. As I'm looking through spices in the baking aisle, I hear someone yelling over my music. It was kind of surprising since I listened to it pretty loud. So I took an earbud out and looked around, and this lady just said to me, "Can't even believe they let employees wear those stupid things." I cut her off and said, "I wouldn't know, because I don't work here." This seemed to upset her greatly, as she got really aggressive when she responded by saying, "Don't beeping lie to me, I've seen you stocking the shelves. I'm a paying customer and you need to help me right now." I'm a very easygoing guy, but when a random stranger speaks to me like this, I'm not going to put up with it. So I said, "I don't have to do beep, especially if you talk to me like that. Get lost." She lost something, that's for sure. She yelled, "Excuse me? How the beep dare you?" I just turned to walk away at that point. All of a sudden she grabs the back of my tank top and I yank myself away, saying, "What the beep, lady, don't touch me." She takes a couple steps back, probably realizing that I am not the kind of person you want to pick a fight with. Fine then, I'm finding a manager. Say goodbye to your job, you lazy, useless piece of beep. I was already putting my earbud back in, so I just said, "Whatever lady, bye." I grabbed my spices as she walked off in a huff and continued my shopping. I wasn't even wearing what employees at this store wear, like how could I possibly be mistaken for an employee? I seriously cannot stress enough how much I don't look like I work there. A couple minutes later, I'm in the next aisle over and I see her again with a manager. I don't hear what she's saying because I've got my music on, but with the way she was pointing her finger, I'd imagine she was probably saying that I'm the one who didn't help her. They started walking up, and I took both earbuds out this time. Manager approaches me and I hear the lady saying, "He should be fired for cussing at me and threatening me." Manager is like, "Yeah, he doesn't work here. He's wearing a tank top, that's definitely against dress code, well, anywhere." She didn't like that answer. "Then why is he stocking your shelves?" I chime in and say, "I'm comparing calories in foods and picking the best ones to stay healthy. Maybe you should try it sometime, you definitely look like you need it." She stands there for a moment with this expression on her face that looked like her brain didn't process what I just said. Then she got surprisingly calm. It was getting kind of pathetic at that point, at least I thought so, but the manager actually seemed to side with her, and said, "Still, I can't have anyone assaulting people in my store." Whoa, what? I must have missed the part where she said I assaulted her, so I ask him to repeat himself, and he explains that it is a criminal offense to assault someone, and that the police could get involved. Lady goes from pissed off to real smug, like I'm about to get it. "Good," I said, "call them down here, I'll wait. I know this store has security cameras on every aisle. And I'm so sick of people like her getting away with this level of entitlement, that I really did wait." Police show up a few more minutes later, we go to a back office in the store, and they're really grilling me. Asking me why I would attack someone, if I was on any drugs, etc. I'm kind of used to this treatment. People take one look at me and just assume I'm some meathead bodybuilder with roid rage. I answer all their questions by saying, "Look at the security footage, it will answer all your questions." The more I said it, the more frustrated they got. Finally, they leave the room. I just wait there patiently, for about 45 minutes, then they come back and apologize. "The manager told us you assaulted her, we should have checked the footage, but you do fit the profile." I then say, "Why? Because I have bigger muscles than most people. Is that a crime?" They know they can't really say or do much about it since they made some pretty big assumptions. "If you'd like, you can press charges against her since she did grab you according to the security footage." And you know what? I said that I would like to press charges. Normally I don't like to waste my time dealing with courts, but hours of my day were already wasted today, and I want her to know that she can't get away with it. A few minutes later, the manager offers to let me just go home with my groceries for free, probably a bit scared that I might sue the store for discrimination or something since I was so ready to press charges on the lady. On my way out, I saw them putting her into the back of a police car, and she was screaming profanities at the officers. I've already talked to an attorney, who is in the process of obtaining the security footage. Court date is going to be in March, but should be pretty straightforward since the evidence is in my favor. I've never actually had to press charges like this before, so I have no idea what to expect. All I know is that even if she only ends up getting fined $1, or has to do even a minute of community service, I'll have a smile on my face. Anyway, that's been my crazy day. I know there are similar stories here of crazy Karens and stuff, and I always thought they were entertaining and would sometimes even think about what I'd do in a similar situation. My reaction certainly wasn't what I thought it would be though, and it wasn't as entertaining being on the receiving end of the story. At least I got some free groceries out of it though. Our final story of today is, Karen follows me into the men's restroom. A few weeks ago I was visiting my local big box bookstore, looking for good clearance items before the store closed permanently. The dead mall it was attached to is being demolished. The store has no dress code but the employees do wear lanyards, and I wasn't. So I was browsing around my preferred sci-fi section when I realized I needed to use the nearby restroom. So I headed in that direction, which happened to also be next to the mid-store customer service counter. Karen notices me, positions herself directly in front of me, and blocking my path to my urinary destination. I don't know why you don't keep that desk staffed, but I really need your help finding my book. Are you going to help me or not? Not, I say, remembering the urgency of my business, and I step around her with a variation of, I don't work here, continuing to my destination, thinking that will be the end of the encounter. It's not to be. I hear her voice rising in pitch and volume, on its way to full Karen Banshee as she literally follows me into the men's room, and I'm convinced she was about to grab my arm and pull me around to face her. Being conscious of social norms about public exposure, I made it into a stall and locked the door for privacy. That didn't stop her from knocking on the door and threatening to get me fired, before she heard the really solid stream hit the water and, I'm convinced, realized for the first time what it was she had done. I heard her embarrassed sounding squeak, huff, and she hightailed it out of there. I finished my thing and washed my hands, and came out to witness her being escorted out of the store by a properly lanyard employee. I only caught the tail end of the conversation where Karen stated she was never coming here again. And the employee had a classic response, neither am I, we're closing. Thank you for watching. Error. Problem detected. Not enough subscribers. Please subscribe, like and comment.